death is not our enemy. It is actually our best friend, because it reminds us of the importance of life. It reminds us of the importance of savoring life, because death reminds us that life is fleeting, that everyone that we know, ourselves included, is going to die one day, that everything that we have, all of our possessions, are going to be taken away from us one day. And hence, it reminds us to make the most of what we have and to enjoy the people that we love as long as we can. The problem is that most people are not familiar with the idea of death, because we are living in a culture that represses it. Pretty much no one is talking about death. Death in our culture is a taboo subject. Our culture thinks that death is something bad. That's why you see that it glorifies, even worships youthfulness. But as long as we are afraid of death, we will not be able to truly live. Because the fear of dying prevents us from living. Because to truly live means to get out of our comfort zone. It means to fall in love. It means to take risks. But if we are so afraid of dying, we will not be able to do any of those things. We will try to play it safe as much as we can. But in that safety is stagnation. In that safety is a metaphorical death. Most people are dead before they have even died. Yes, they are surviving, but that does not mean that they are living. To survive and to live are two very, very different things. Only when we become familiar with the idea of death, only when we accept our own mortality, only when we bring into our awareness that life is impermanent, will we be able to truly live. Because knowing about its impermanence, we will desire to make the most out of it, to live fully, to not live half-heartedly. And when we are familiar with the idea of death, when we accept that nothing can prevent us from dying, then we will be willing to take risks. We will be willing to fall in love. We will be willing to try out new things, to make new adventures, to explore and discover new aspects of reality. Even if that is not the ideal thing to do in terms of surviving. Because what is the point of surviving when we don't live? What is the point of surviving like a stagnant water that is not flowing, that is not moving, that is not going to new places? So we need to focus on death, to understand that death is an inseparable part of life. It is a process of life that is unavoidable. Life and death go hand in hand. And without death, there would not be life. There is nothing wrong with death. What is wrong is our suppressing of it. So we need to meditate on death, to contemplate on it, to ponder on it, to imagine that sooner or later we are going to die, at least in this form. Because of course in reality life never dies and we are inseparable from life. We are just one aspect, one tiny part of life that is connected to the rest of it. So we might die to this form, but in one way or another, we will continue as life. As some spiritual teachers say, we might die as a wave, but the ocean will continue being there. We will merge back to it, just like we came out of it. So once we become aware of our mortality, once we see it for what it truly is, we will stop being afraid of death. And hence, we will not be afraid of living. We will be able to enjoy life to the fullest, or to enjoy life as much as we can, in the conditions that we live in. We will stop taking it for granted. We will see how precious it is to be alive, to be sentient, to be conscious, to be able to have relationships, to be able to experience the beauty of nature, the fragrances of the flowers and the trees, the taste of food, those small everyday things that we don't give so much importance to. We will be able to see them with different eyes. We will be able to see how wonderful and wonder-filled life is. And then we will not want to waste a single moment of it. We will want to take it all in so that before we die, we can say that we have truly lived.